Hello, I'm Jay-Z Balexis, aka Lethargic Action Hero. Someone introduce themselves.
I thought we were just going to go down the line chronologically.
I'm Zach.
I'm Chester.
I'm David.
And we just finished watching Twice Upon a Time, the Doctor Who Christmas special this year, and Peter Capaldi's final outing. And if it isn't obvious, I loved Peter Capaldi a lot.
I think we all did.
I didn't.
Well, me in particular, he became my doctor because this year I've been going through some very personal issues. I won't go into the details, but suffice it to say there is legal drama involved, and I'm trying to protect my grandparents. And his speech about being kind kind of became a mantra for me. That episode of The Doctor Falls hit at just the right time where I was going through a serious crisis, and it helped me a lot. Even before that, though, I didn't really have a favorite Doctor. I kind of loved them all, except maybe Peter Davison. Sorry, 5 fans.
You did too, you liar, it was 8.
No, I cosplay 8 because, yeah, he's great. Rhyme not intended. And he's definitely up there on the list, but I never really had a favorite before 12.
You lie.
Let me put it this way:
The Doctor lies. Rule number 1, guys.
My favorite is the one I'd seen most recently, before 12 came along. 12th Doctor just happened to be everything I like in an incarnation of the Doctor. I like an older guy. I like that he was a little bit edgier and darker and way more unpredictable. The thing about Matt Smith and David Tennant was they kind of got predictable in their character beats. You never really knew what 12 was going to do, though, and so that made him a lot more entertaining for me. So, yeah, I was really sad to see him go, especially given the fact that my grandfather passed away about 4 weeks ago. I was very close to him, and just like losing both of them so close to together. Yeah, I'll admit I cried a couple times during during Twice Upon a Time, both times that I watched it. So
I can vouch for the second time at the very least.
Yeah.
So why don't we? I'll let you guys say a bit now.
I loved 12, especially the 12 and Clara dynamic. I knew right from deep breath that 12 and Clara was going to be my favorite Doctor Companion team, just because Jenna Coleman and Peter Capaldi are extremely talented performers. And I found it kind of obvious that Moffat had it pretty well nailed down what he wanted their dynamic to be right away. And Series 8 was a really good season for me. Series 9 just blew it out of the water. He's wrong, sorry. Series 9 is definitely the best season of the entire show, in my opinion. He's still wrong, sorry.
I think season 12 was the strongest. Not season
12
10
hasn't happened yet.
Spoilers. Season 10 was, I think, my favorite season.
Season 10 was very, 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 very good. I just could not get over how great Season 9 was because, every story is a 2-part story. You have that much more time to tell the story, and, I can't think of a single episode that I disliked from Season 9.
My issue with Season 9 was a lot more limited in the places that the show went. I'm kind of getting a little tired of it being so Earth-centric. I felt like Season 10 took us a few more exotic locations than Season 9 did. I will admit we kind of hit a slump there with the whole monk 3-parter.
Yeah.
That's kind of the major downside of Season 10 was that there were 3 episodes. None of them were particularly great. I think Extremis was good. The second part was meh, and the third part was pretty bad, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, there were good elements to it, but he was a first-time Doctor Who writer, and you trusted him to end this the third part of this epic trilogy. That probably wasn't the best idea.
Yeah, it just didn't want to go anywhere.
And the
Jenny baby.
the Deus Ex Machina ending.
Doctor.
He offered jelly babies in season 8.
True.
He had him in a cigar case.
Mhm.
It was brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you got a yellow one. I'm sorry. Anyway, the Monk 3-parter was what really tore down Season 10 for me because, like I said, in my opinion, Season 9 did not have any bad episodes, and then Season 10,
The Sandman episode.
loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I enjoyed it up until the ending.
I liked the ending too.
Which season was that? Kill the Moon? Or
That was Season 8.
season 8? Good.
Season 8, Kill the Moon
He
can
will
die in
never
a fire.
shut up about Kill the Moon.
The egg? The moon should not be an egg. I will fight anybody on this.
Not only should it not be an egg, it should not be gaining mass. Eggs do not gain mass. First
Yes.
law of thermodynamics is that matter is neither created nor destroyed. It's converted to energy and back and forth. If by some ludicrous thing there's some sort of creature inside the moon, it's not pulling its mass out of nowhere. There's a yolk in there that it was feeding from, so the mass is merely just displaced. It would not affect the Earth's gravity, and there's no way a creature upon birth would also lay an egg the exact same size as its egg.
I honestly really love Kill the Moon just because it drives these kinds of people insane, and it's really fun to watch them bitch about it.
Science fiction, of course, should always have suspension of disbelief. Every series requires a certain level of suspension of disbelief. But Kill the Moon did not suspend disbelief. It lynched it and left its corpse to rot in the sun.
It's science fiction. Science is in the name.
I can forgive stuff that like kind of I can forgive science fiction that bullshits on the advanced quantum physics level.
Yes.
But if it fails on a third grade level, then it fails.
I would just like to say that ending, Clara's mental breakdown, kind of redeemed the whole thing for me because that was where her character really started to solidify, in my opinion.
Yeah, it only
And-
took her a whole season to solidify.
Still disagree, you're still wrong, go to hell. But,
See, I agree with you that was a great scene, but that did not make up that episode.
They could have come up with some other crisis for her to have a meltdown over.
Yes.
But the meltdown itself was one of the best acted scenes in the entire series. Clara's character really started to get really good from that point, and the following two episodes, Mummy on the Orient Express and Flatline, were hands down the best episodes of the season, and I will fight anyone who disagrees with me.
The camera is shaking because my kitten is playing with the tripod, so apologies there.
This has kind of turned into a dissection of what did and did not work about 12's era in general, and we have talked very little.
Yeah, let's talk about the actual episode now.
You're right.
Let's stay on
So,
topic.
Twice Upon a Time...
That always happens with him and me.
Yeah, it's his fault. Twice Upon a Time itself, I'd say, honestly, in terms of story beats, it really barely had a story whatsoever.
I felt the same way. It didn't really have a plot. I mean,
in terms of... I would say that Twice Upon a Time is an excellent character piece, however. And
It
is, yeah.
Like,
well,
in terms of exploring where the show started and where it came to where it is now, I'd say, and like celebrating not only Moffat's run but the show as a whole, I think it's a near perfect send-off.
in that way, it was kind of did a better job of that than the 50th anniversary special.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Regarding the plot, yeah, it's easier to accept if you see it as more of a coda, and you see the Dr. Falls as the proper final episode. In terms of a proper send-off and an actual going out with a bang, the Cyberman two-parter was definitely... Kitten, stop that!
You're having technical difficulties.
Please stand by. Yeah.
Technicat difficulties.
This felt like more of a coda, and I hate you two. What really
Okay,
bugged
there's enough
me
love over here for
was
everybody.
they set up this scene where the first Doctor is given a preview of all the atrocities that the Doctor commits. He's given this montage of all the war acts that his future selves are going to commit. And you can see the horror in his face.
That doesn't really go anywhere.
And it doesn't go anywhere. Yeah, there's no payoff to that. he just kind of like shrugs it off, and the rest of the episode just keeps going on.
Yeah,
And
they did set that up as a major
there
character.
was a setup, and there was no payoff there. If anyone here has ever read the 10 Doctors fan comic, it's like a 250-page epic fan comic. It's like, I consider like one of the greatest works of fan art and fan fiction of all time for any fandom. There's this he pulls that off even better, where the first Doctor is kind of getting all these references to the horrors his future selves commit, and he has like this several periods where he freaks out about it, and he questions whether he's on the right path. Finally, at one point, his companions from all eras band together. Spoilers. Tangent. I'll finish it up real quick. Spoilers, they all band together to rescue him, and the Brigadier gives him this big long speech about the great things that the Doctor is going to do, and it's a really great scene, and that's how you do a moment like that.
Yeah, that moment in terms of what little story there was didn't really have a lot of point. Like I said, this was kind of a character piece. It wasn't really, and in terms of an exploration of like the character that he started out as versus the character that become, it might have been an interesting story, but like there was...
They didn't really do anything with that.
I feel like if this had been like 11's last episode and it was a 90-minute episode, that might have been something interesting to explore, but we only had...
Cat!
We only had an hour for this episode, so I didn't really feel like that was...
Yeah, this was a little shorter than the other Christmas specials, so... I wouldn't be surprised if there were some deleted
Speaking
scenes.
of the other Christmas specials, I was not the least bit surprised that Moffat managed to sneak Silent Night in there one more time. He's been doing that with all of the Christmas specials ever since A Christmas Carol.
Okay, speaking of Moffat,
Oh boy.
hold up, brace yourself. I'm gonna criticize Moffat.
He's still wrong. Just
You don't know what he's gonna say yet.
Moffat has this pattern where he can't kill off his characters for realsies. Strax came back to life with no explanation. River cheated death with the whole library download thing. Clara became effectively immortal so that she could run around in her own TARDIS and have adventures before her death.
Almost as much as I'm blessed.
Amy and Rory kind of, sort of, instead of being killed off, they were sent back in time to live out the rest of their lives. I'm starting to wonder if Moffat has like this a great inner fear of death, because here he is, once again, now he came up with the ultimate plot device to bring any character back, and for all characters to cheat death in some way, to have by having their memories preserved and reappear as glass avatars. Granted, they probably won't do anything with that, but still, it fits a pattern that annoyed me about Moffat's writing.
He's not as wrong as he usually is.
Thank you!
Like,
See, I feel like for some of those characters, like River surviving through that's supposed to be like the Doctor being clever.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. Things like Rory not dying, things like Clara not dying, those are just someone's desire to not have to end anything, and that is disappointing.
Yeah, and when you consider the fact that half the time he doesn't even bother to come up with an explanation, like with Strax, they just reappear one day and they're just kind of like...
Strax did get an explanation in a web episode.
Oh.
He was resuscitated by Vastra and Jenny.
Man, I would have hated to see that kind of mouth to mouth.
He was never actually dead. He was just being overdramatic, basically, which kind of fits his characterization.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of wrong.
Don't you dare!
So he's just kind
Get
of
down.
wrong in general about Strax.
Get down.
I don't really see it as... I don't really see the rest of them as too much of a flaw in terms of just not wanting to kill off the characters, just because...
It would be okay if he did it once or twice, but this is a pattern. This has become a pattern.
I can't think of a companion from the Davies era who got a better send-off than any of the companions from the Moffat era, so I'm not really sure how that's too bad of a flaw.
Well, yeah, I've always felt that Moffat and Davies... I don't have a preference. I think that the pros and
was
cons...
just bad at writing out companions in general, so...
Their pros and cons balance each other out to a surprising degree, but I'm not talking about Davies. I'm just talking about Moffat right now.
I honestly just find that they were still satisfying endings, even if didn't kill them off entirely. I would have liked to see Amy and Rory just decide to retire instead of being killed off, but like...
Yeah, you know what? We need to see more of that in Companions. Just, hey, I'm done. I want to, you know...
And that's kind of what their character arc was building towards, but we're getting off subject again. So,
Alright, so back to the episode we just saw.
the captain, what was everyone's opinion on Mark Gatiss' character?
That was the first...
Sorry if I mispronounced your name, Mr. Gatiss. You are a god among actors,
What
and I
makes
love
you think he'll actually watch this? I mean, it would be cool if anyone
We will
watched
send
this.
it to him somehow.
I'm following him on Twitter, but anyway, Mark Gatiss is an amazing actor. I love him in Sherlock. I honestly love him as a writer, and anyone who criticizes his episodes is wrong, and I will kill you. But
I honestly expected him to take over after Moffat.
I didn't.
My money was on him.
I did not, just because he just doesn't. I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't. I had a reason at one point, but I can't think of it now. But anyway, Mark Gatiss, fantastic
It's
actor.
because he hated you, Mr. Gatiss.
No, Mr. Gatiss, you are a fantastic actor, and I loved you in this. But Mark Gatiss, Captain was a really fun character, and he was just kind of fun to have around, just for the character for whom the bigger on the inside reveal is, and like I really liked the point that the poignancy of like the ending, like the Doctor always being kind by like rearranging times that the Captain didn't have to die. Really, really sweet send off,
And the reveal of who he was.
the ultimate reveal that he was Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart's descendant.
His father.
His father.
Yeah.
That was a powerful moment. Probably not for him because he doesn't know who that is, but
Yeah, as a person who's not in a costume, I think it should be clear I'm very new to the series.
Filthy casual right here.
So, this was a great
there's
reveal,
nothing filthy about him.
but that I knew nothing about. So it was a cool character. I really liked the character, but the whole reveal didn't mean anything to me as someone who's
Okay.
only watched the new stuff.
Okay, so Brigadier, basic setup. He is a companion to almost every single classic series Doctor. Like, he is the longest serving character in the show's history,
Cool.
besides the Doctor himself.
Cool.
Yeah, and definitely an epic badass character.
Fantastic
too.
character, kind of an asshole, tried to kill off the Silurians. We
He's
don't talk
Kate
about that.
Stewart's father
Oh, okay, then I know
That-
enough about this character.
and the founder of UNIT.
Right.
That's why Kate and Osgood are important.
Right.
Yeah, that's what the first moment that I started crying at the finale in that episode was the mention of the Lethbridge Stewart name. Because, the Cyberman moment at the end of season 8, I kind of had mixed feelings about that.
Please don't break my glasses again.
Catilla, get down!
Do we need the laser pointer?
We need
Yeah,
those.
use the laser pointer. Get him down. That's
Thank
his
you.
Sonic. Yeah. So, we talked about the first Doctor's plot. We talked about the plot of the episode.
Okay, the overall use of the first Doctor and keeping in the kind of casual racism, casual sexism from
60s.
the 60s. I really liked that, especially because I have a friend who was talking not long ago about how she really doesn't like One as a character, just because he's kind of a bastard. And, like, I think Moffat kind of agrees with that, because, like, he really wrote the first Doctor as an asshole, and, like, there were a lot of moments where 12 was just clearly
Horrified, and
Like-
his expression every single time was brilliant.
embarrassed to be... Oh my god, Capaldi's facial expressions in this...
Capaldi's brilliant in everything he
He's
does.
such...
He really sold embarrassment of, I can't believe I was a racist.
Well, yeah, I'm glad that they kept it, the fact that the first Doctor was kind of a bastard. Catilla, don't play with Daddy's
There
scars.
was a moment where the first Doctor encountering Bill Potts... Spoilers, Bill Potts is in this episode, kind of. So
I think it's a given now that we're deep in spoiler
We are
territory.
deep in spoiler
So
territory right
he
now.
encounters Bill, and he tells her that he's going to spank her. And Capaldi's expression, horrified expression of, oh my god, he literally just said that, is the best face I have ever seen any Doctor pull off ever.
Yeah, the first Doctor. Well, let's look at his track record in his first few episodes. He kidnapped his original companions. He tried to kill one with a rock. So, yeah, he was more of a chaotic neutral at the start of his show. He was not a heroic character till a few seasons in, and that was kind of his story arc.
I think Vigor was working.
Starting out as this mysterious asshole and learning to kind of be a hero. And even then, the first time he saved the Earth was more for the challenge of it than any sense of righteousness.
And I would also like to say David Bradley's impersonation is almost uncanny. It's
Really good.
And I think that was necessary to have that scene in there where Bill is asking him why he went on the run. That was a brilliant conversation.
because
there.
it really fits with
the first
Capaldi's
Doctor's
realization that he needs to live at the end.
right,
Yeah.
as well as the first Doctor's characterization. And
Yeah,
I think that
because
was,
Moffat seems to think, or Moffat's version of this is that he ran away just because it was kind of almost for fun and curiosity, is what I got out of it.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Like,
well, he said there were lots of reasons. You know, I've always had this theory that, like, because he had a granddaughter in his first regeneration, he was kind of like the Time Lord equivalent of a teenage pregnancy and kind of a social outcast because of that. That's why he took his granddaughter with him.
or the divorce was so bad that he needed to leave the planet.
Many theories.
That's the Doctor from Star Trek, not the Doctor from Doctor Who. Nothing left but my bones.
Oh, I thought we were talking Voyager here because his name was actually the Doctor.
No, I was making a Star Trek a TOS reference there.
Third base.
You should have seen that. You should have heard our conversation when he was tying his bow tie in third person. Second Doctor's bow tie in third person.
Third base.
So,
The joke's not funny. That's just a punchline.
so if you may have noticed,
That was the
Zach
joke
doesn't
in the-
talk that
okay,
much.
never
He's
mind.
more of a. He's more. Just as he's sitting literally between Chester and me, he's also a figurative buffer between Chester and
And
me.
yet I've been the one shouting tangent whenever he goes on a tangent. Remember that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get past your overwhelming policeness.
Third base.
So, anything you'd like to add, Zach?
Nothing in particular, but I will say, the second the captain appeared, I called it. I knew that's who he was going to be.
I didn't even really think about it. I couldn't help noticing that that mustache seemed a little familiar.
That was what clued me in.
I knew it was Mark Gatiss, and that's kind of what.
Yeah, I kept seeing him as Mark Gatiss.
Yeah, the star power was kind of what stopped me from getting it. In retrospect, it seems. Honestly, I kind of thought when I saw the publicity stills that he was playing the Brigadier.
So did I.
Because
so did I, yeah.
it's a really good resemblance, and if you were going to recast the Brigadier, which I kind of agree with him, I don't think you should, out of respect for what's his face.
Oh crap! I'm drawing a blank.
That one guy.
Courtney.
Uh,
I've got like the Five Doctor DVD or Five Doctors.
Nicholas Courtney.
Nicholas Courtney.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Points to you.
out of respect for Nicholas Courtney, I don't think they should recast that role. But if you needed to, Mark Gatiss would be an excellent choice. And honestly, he really felt like the Brig's father. He really felt like someone who was related to the Brigadier. Which, you know, again, he's not part of this conversation because he doesn't know anything about the Brigadier. But
Yeah, I'm personally against recasting doctors myself, but there is precedent for the first Doctor because you kind of have to have a first.
and
Doctor.
honestly, David Bradley was way better than what's his face from the Five Doctors.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So much better. Like so much better than Guy in a dodgy wig.
That guy
Yep.
did the best that he could. In all fairness.
In all fairness, yes, but like he was nowhere near as good as David Bradley.
Personally, I was against David Bradley playing the first Doctor in Doctor Who proper because I thought it would be a little too meta. I'm glad that I was wrong. I just want to go into.
He's almost as uncanny as Carl Urban in the Star Trek movies.
I personally, if I had recast the first Doctor, I would have gone with Bill Nighy.
That's an expensive guest star. They were able to get him for Vincent the Doctor because it was minor role.
Mm-hmm. Well, considering the fact that they almost cast him as the 10th Doctor before David Tennant, I think he would have been willing to take a pay cut to play the Doctor. He's a big fan.
Well, he's British, of course he is.
You know who I recently found out is a big fan of Doctor Who, much to my surprise? William Shatner. And not only is he a big fan of Doctor Who, I've seen him make some snipes at Moffat on Twitter, and he's apparently a big fan of 12 in particular because he filmed a goodbye to him that they used in that big goodbye montage for 12.
Alright.
Something that I really did love about this episode that I know that I'm not sure that these people are going to agree with me on was at the end of the episode, it's revealed that the Bill Potts in this episode was basically an amalgam of all of the memories of various people who came from the New York in like the year 5 billion and 12, and Bill Potts's memory imprint in an effort to sort of convince the Doctor that memories are important and that she is Bill because she's made up of her memories. She restores the Doctor's memories of Clara.
I liked that actually.
I
thought
like-
that was
good.
a good moment.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Personally, okay, my
in
only
terms
complaint.
in terms of send-offs, I really loved Clara's send-off, but I was really sad that they decided to go with the Doctor forgot about her. But, like, in the first episode of Season 10, they had this moment where the Doctor was about to give Bill a mind wipe, and she was absolutely furious. She, like, fought tooth and nail, and the only thing she could say to convince him was, just imagine if someone did this to you. And then, out of nowhere, it hit me like a ton of bricks.
That was a Clara.
Clara's theme started playing in the background, and it's so subtle and so beautiful, and it really made me sad because it made me realize that how much I missed her and how much I loved that character and how screwed up it was that the Doctor didn't remember her, and that bit really got to me. That was the moment where I teared up a little bit.
My only complaint or critique about that scene was that they didn't have Clara standing next to Bill and Nardole. I would have liked to see all three of his companions say goodbye to him at the
That
same
would have
time.
been nice.
It was kind of like, it kind of reminded me of the Fifth Doctor's moment where he's about to pass out and they have like this trippy sequence of all the companions.
You know what?
floating
I would have
around
loved
like
to see
ghosts.
her included in the group hug.
Me too. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I would have
But-
liked to see.
but
Hey,
I
hey,
am
Catilla, let go of Daddy's backpack.
I am, as someone who has worked with special effects, I am 100% certain that Clara and Bill, or Clara and Pearl Mackie and Peter Capaldi were in fact never on the same set together because Clara was clearly filmed, or Jenna Coleman was clearly filmed in
That
front
was
of green
a very
screen.
obvious green screen there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, that makes me really sad because, like I said, I loved the character. I would have loved to see her have one more little moment alongside Peter Capaldi, but I understand that she's really busy with that new series that I've been meaning to watch.
Victoria?
But yeah,
It's actually pretty good.
I can imagine because, like I said, Jenna Coleman is a ridiculously talented performer, and I was so sad to see her go. But Jenna, I'm glad you're doing really well. Keep up the good work.
I liked you even if I wasn't a fan of Clara.
He's wrong, as usual.
Okay, I liked the Clara we had in her final season. I will give her that.
Oh look, he said something right. How weird is that?
Just took a season and a half for them to coalesce a consistent character.
Oh, and we're right
for
back
here.
to being wrong again.
It's not gonna end.
Yeah. There was another point I was going to make about that scene, but now I can't. Oh yeah, it was a lot better than in terms of bringing companions back. It was a hell of a lot better handled than Amy. That was just a little too fixation-y for me.
I kind of
Yeah.
liked it in terms of the like storybook ending. In terms of like, you know, we started 11's first season with the kid version of Amy reading a bedtime story, and we end it with her telling the Doctor basically the end, and like that was a really powerful moment for me. But I should probably mention that I really loved Amy as a character, and he despises hers. So like once again, wrong.
So yeah,
We're
I would
not going to
say
go into it. We're
if
not
you-
going to go into
no,
it.
I'm not going to go into it, Amy. I'm just going to say, in terms of bringing all the companions back, there have been two times where I liked it. One was what we saw just now in Twice Upon a Time, and as much criticism as I have for the 10th Doctor's final moments going out like a whiny bitch, I did like that sequence where he kind of like revisited all his past companions.
I really liked that too in terms of 10. It's just kind of a shame that his last line was just kind of like.
Well, speaking of but speaking of last lines, my
The
favorite.
10th Doctor's last episode is overrated. I'm sorry.
It's way too melodramatic.
Yeah.
But speaking of last lines, up until now, the 8th Doctor had the best last line of any Doctor. Now 12 beat that out.
I would say that 9 had him. 9 tied him for me. I liked Physician Heal Myself, but the sheer amount of glee in terms of 9 realizing that he wasn't so bad, he might not have been so bad after all, was
Granted, yes, but you kind of have to know the context to really appreciate the meaning of "you were brilliant and so was I." Physician Heal Thyself, you don't really need context for that as much. It's more badass standing on its own, but
like, in terms of the feelings it fills me with, Physician Heal Thyself is, like, cool and badass, but, like, "You were fantastic and so was I" is one of the best lines in an entire season of well-delivered lines from Christopher Eccleston. And he is, like, a legit high-profile movie star that, like, killed it in his only season. And that was the best line of his career as the Doctor, so, like...
Hail Cobra.
Okay, when I say movie star, I mean he's been in high-budget movies, but, you know, not necessarily great ones. But, yeah, I think 9 got the best send-off. In case you can't tell, I'm a big fan of 11, and I loved 11's dropping the bow tie and his goodbye to Amy. And
speaking of dropped items, did you notice that when the ring fell off 13's finger, it was missing his wedding ring? It was just the masking part of it. It wasn't the whole ring.
Well, I always imagined that the masking part was the only thing that existed in universe, because the wedding ring...
No, it's worn around the wedding ring to conceal the fact that it's a wedding ring.
Yeah, the wedding ring...
When they pull the wedding... When the ring falls off, the wedding ring half of it is clearly missing.
I always imagined that the wedding ring did not exist at all in universe, because that's the way it makes sense.
Well,
so the masking part was the only part of it that existed.
That's right.
Well, I'm just saying part of that prop was missing.
Oh, and also, I just have to say this. Fuck you, Chris Chibnall, for that ending. I will never forgive you for this. How long do we have to wait? How long?
Well, they've already begun filming, so...
Okay, good. Seriously,
though? There have been already some leaked photos of Jodie Whittaker running around in 13's costume.
Okay, Mr. Chibnall, I have had my issues with you in the past. Cyberwoman was dreadful. 42 was forgettable. I can almost forgive all of those just because of that ending, because that was beautifully done. That was amazing. I loved it.
I'm just tired of the TARDIS crashing after every regeneration.
Catilla.
It's become a cliche at this point. Catilla, get down! Leave Daddy's Transformers alone! Yeah, that's it. You're going out of the room here.
We've had excessive amount of cat difficulties.
What I think is kind of funny is that not only has the TARDIS crashing been a thing in every regeneration, but every single writer has latched onto this idea. Davies did it, Moffat did it, and now Chibnall's done it.
But why? What is so great about this idea?
It's dramatic, I guess, but it doesn't have to happen every time. It's getting repetitive.
But I loved that ending.
I love that shot of the flames coming up the TARDIS,
like,
the time vortex.
You can tell just from
Time
that
Lord.
scene that Jodie Whittaker's going to be brilliant. Like, her facial expressions are fantastic. Her one line, she had one word and she nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Like, all she said was, like, brilliant. But, like, the manic expression on her face, oh my god, it was perfect. I cannot imagine that being much better than it was. Like,
I'm looking forward to Jodie Whittaker. I don't expect to latch onto her the way I did with 12, and that's personal.
Oh, no.
That's just a personal thing.
Yeah.
Like, Matt Smith had me from his first look. Like, right after his regeneration, he had this, like, amazingly adorable look on his face where he was just like... And that was the moment where he became my favorite Doctor. So, like... Matt Smith is still, to me, Matt Smith is still my Doctor, but I loved Capaldi. I loved Christopher Eccleston. I looked past some of Tennant's flaws. Don't kill me, Internet.
David Tennant's a good actor.
He's a he's a great actor. I love him.
He just had a
I
very
forgave
badly
him.
written doctor.
Bless you. I forgave him for being in Goblet of Fire because that movie was a shit show. Don't kill me, Internet.
Hey, if anyone's gonna get killed, it's me because I haven't actually watched the Harry Potter movies because I'm not a Harry Potter fan.
Heresy.
It's fine though. The movies suck. So don't kill me, Internet.
Okay, back to Twice Upon a Time.
God damn, we've tangented a lot.
You have one job, and that's to keep us on track. Okay?
You know what my job is next time? Write us a damn script.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna follow a script.
I'm gonna make you.
Just shock colors all
Hey,
around.
technically, you are guest stars in what's going to become my show, so
True.
it all depends on if I invite you back.
You will.
Harsh.
You love us.
We're definitely for the big momentous Doctor Who episodes.
Oh, by the way, I can't wait to do this for the premiere of the next season.
Oh yeah, we're definitely doing this for that premiere.
Honestly, I have never been very secretive of the fact that I massively preferred the Moffat era to the Davies era, and like Moffat's always been a kind of a feeling over story kind of writer, and like I'll admit that like season 6 especially, he got some not great stuff. The silence arc kind of just puttered out like the scooter from Good Omens.
You know, River's Song.
But
Alex Kingston is a great actress. Her charisma makes the character watchable when she's on screen, but on paper, she's just the suest Mary Sue to ever sue.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
I don't agree at all.
Half Time Lord lady who's married to the Doctor and can pilot the TARDIS better than him.
She was kind of Mary Sue.
Not really. Like in because Mary Sue is like, to me it's more in terms of like lacking personality, and she definitely doesn't do that.
No, I'll
Like,
give her she's got a personality.
To me, a Mary Sue is someone who's really important and fanficky and has no personality, which is more like Martha to me.
We're not getting started on Martha.
Except Martha's not a Mary Sue because she
Why did you say that name? Think about it for a minute.
Chill out too.
because she was never great to begin with, but
Tangents, people. We have to stop these tangents.
okay, fine. I'm sorry. Anyway, Twice Upon a Time. I was honestly a little bit disappointed that I was kind of with 12 in being a little bit disappointed that the bill in this episode wasn't the bill that we followed, but like a collection of...
See, when I think of that, I can't help thinking of the quote from The Five Doctors. A man is the sum of his memories, you know, a Time Lord even more so. Yeah, arguably, that's not the same entity that he knew, but it's the next best thing. It's something of her that's living on past her. What annoyed me the most is that they really didn't explain how she went from lesbian time-traveling puddle to glass woman.
Doesn't
they
matter,
kind of
though.
did, because, like, if I understand this correctly, all of the glass people were from way down, because, like, they literally state the year that the
5
glass
billion,
people
yeah.
is 5 billion and 12, so, like, Bill has lived a very full life and is now... Like, Bill might have lived a very full life. She might have gone back to being the chips lady, or the fries lady, because we're an American and we speak American. But, like, she might...
Fuck yeah!
I want you to go in and bleep out all the curse words, because that'd be funnier. But,
I don't know how to do that. Someday down the line, I'll learn how to edit.
Vegas is a not terribly expensive editing program that you might look into.
Tangents.
Okay. Yes, there is one plug I promised that I'd let you do.
Okay, so this bow tie that I'm wearing is by The Subtle Geek. You can find them just by Googling The Subtle Geek. They make all sorts of really cool bow ties. This one is Star Trek insignias that I bought specifically for my 11th Doctor costume. They also do like...
It's hilariously meta.
They also do like the Rebel insignia from Star Wars and the Deathly Hallows symbol from Harry Potter and the Time Lord High Gallifreyan seal.
I
So
need to ask them if they do question mark underwear.
I didn't see any underwear when I was there. All I saw was ties and handkerchiefs and ties.
Well, I need to get some question mark underwear to make this cosplay complete.
I'm concerned that no one will see that, but also concerned someone's going to see that.
No one's going to see it, trust me.
You're just dedicated to cosplay.
I'm just a dedicated cosplayer.
Alright.
I'm pretty sure Zach is thinking about him in question mark underwear right
I'm
now.
not.
Thank God.
You are now thinking about David Tennant's penis. You're welcome.
The fuck? So overall, I thought it was a good episode.
I really like.
I would rate it a 6 out of 10.
I'd probably go 8 or 9, honestly.
I would give this a solid 8.
I was gonna say 7.5.
I give this a 12 out of 10.
I love you.
Why make a scale if you're gonna break it for a reference? Actually, no, that's something I would do.
Well, you know what? He beat me to it. I was kicking myself for not making a X out of 12 comment myself. So thank you.
Okay, so if we're going out of 12, I'd say 10 out of 12.
Yeah, a scale to 12. I would rate it 7 or 8.
Honestly, in terms of eras, I think that Capaldi had the highest number of great episodes and great stories, and he is a damn fine actor. Like,
Yeah.
I was blown away by his speech in the Zygon Invasion, or the Zygon Inversion. His speech to the Boneless at the end of Flatliners. His speech about how humanity needs to learn to stand for themselves and kill the moon. Like, even if that was not a great episode, it was still very well acted. These last 3 seasons have been so fantastic, and
I would say he's had the most consistent season out of any of the New Who Doctors. Not counting Eccleston because he only had the 1 season. So I don't
it was
know
a
if
very
you can
strong
really-
season overall, though. But,
Yeah, it was a very good season, definitely.
But I'm really gonna miss Capaldi. I'm honestly kind of gonna miss Moffat.
I didn't want Capaldi to go.
No.
I honestly thought he should have stayed for at least 1 more season. I mean, I'm welcoming Jodie Whittaker with open arms, but again, 12 became my doctor.
Yes.
I'm still for Matt Smith just because his like quirky ADD personality is the one that most reminds me of myself. But Capaldi, you were fantastic. You were brilliant. You were wonderful, and I'll really miss you because that was a great run.
That was a great run.
And in terms of final words, those are definitely some words to live by.
Yes.
I will always remember when the doctor was you, Peter Capaldi.
Laugh hard, be kind, run fast. Doctor, we let you go. God damn it!
You tried. You tried.
Almost.